I don't think everybody necessarily needs to be a motivational speaker. I do think everybody wants to serve. If you're afraid of it, if it requires bravery, then you have to do it.
And it's okay to entertain and teach at the same time?
That's the best. You decide, do you want a hobby or do you want a business? So what do you got?
Okay, so it was a great little session, our circle this morning. When I asked my question, you led the answer with, not all people are meant to be thought leaders. And it kind of sunk in my mind because I come from your other demographic. You work with entrepreneurs. And as much as I love social media, I do it because I just love it, right? I didn't start it for money, but I was following all the suggested videos and I'm making it. And because of the person that I am, I think it would be good for me to work for myself. But at the same time, your mom said if you have the ability, you have the responsibility.
Yep.
Right? My demographic, because you're so about the entrepreneurs, that I kind of worry about the other half.
Yeah. I don't think everybody necessarily needs to be a motivational speaker. I do think everybody wants to serve. And I have a demographic, and you have yours. And you want to serve them. And you want to make them feel what? Like, what's your one word?
Forgiveness.
Great. So you want to help them feel forgiveness. Help them feel accepted. Help them feel not alone. Help them be able to move on with their life. That what they went through was not their fault, and they did the best with what they had at that time, and there's still a bright road ahead of them, right? You'll feel great doing that. Now it's how do you inject that into your content? So all the skills you're learning here are helpful in that maybe you make thought leadership kind of videos where it's talking head, but any kind of content that you make, you want people to get that feeling. So my point there was if you have these videos that are showing some historic building and what you like about it, how do you make people feel forgiveness by taking a tour of a building? How do you make them feel more accepted and more belonged by taking a tour of the building, right? So you don't have to be the thought leader speaker, but your videos, everything you create has to have a message.
Plant a seed that they could maybe move on and find it themselves?
That's a good starting point, but you can also be more specific.
Which I've learned in the past 2 days, like I've never dug in, it's now a passion of mine also right now, but I was trying to spoon feed like a baby, a little bit here, a little bit there, hinting to what I'm about, but not being brave enough to.
If you're afraid of it, if it requires bravery, then you have to do it, right? I remember I was sitting down with Danny, my camera guy here at a coffee shop or something. I asked him, what would the boldest version of you do? And that seemed to strike a chord with him and pushed him into action mode. So what would the boldest version of you do? Because you do things that require bravery. You are brave. You don't back down from things that require courage, right? Even just to get it out of your system, even if it doesn't work, just the fact that you're afraid of it and you have to be brave to do it is a great lesson in forgiveness for yourself to say, I'm going to go off and try. Ultimately, what you do, if you're creating content, you're creating a product or service, it has to work with the audience. You have to have a market for it. So what you love creating has to match with what people want, but it's that happy marriage of I love doing this and it serves people, so here we go. So there might be some moments where you spoon feed and you just go bit by bit. Even just hanging around you should make people feel a certain way. Hanging around me should make you feel belief, even if I'm not trying, just by being around. And that should be the same for everybody here. It should be the same for you. That's more spoon-feeding way. There was a guy yesterday who came by the studio who wants to enter into a DJ competition where he's like scratching and doing all this crazy stuff, right? and I see him outside, and we start talking, and we spent 4 minutes together, and he doesn't think he can be ready for the competition. He's afraid to go in and not do well. I gave him belief. Some micro dosage, right? Now, there may be times where you go harder. There may be times where you are overt because you are walking through this building and you see this mirror, and this mirror reminds you of your mom, and it brings up this story, and then you tell the story of what that all means, right? As opposed to say, oh, here's what most people do. They see the mirror, say, oh, that's a beautiful antique mirror, and you're thinking of the story, but you don't share the story because you're afraid to share the story. So then you move on to the next thing, but it's in the back of your head. You see the story, you tell the story. You see the mirror, you tell the story, right? And that opens up a world for people who are watching. So now it's being more overt. Or if you're in the live chat and you see somebody asking a question or sharing their story, dig into it, help them.
And it's okay to entertain and teach at the same time?
That's the best. You learned to salsa dance.
Not really. I love dancing, but I love to watch it, right? Because I can't dance
But
myself.
here's the thing: you learned the basics of salsa dancing and bachata dancing over the past couple days here. This school, Trinidad and Salsa, is the biggest Latin dancing school in the country, and it's because it's about fun. Alex, the instructor, is fun. He's going to have you laughing, he's going to have you clapping, he's going to have you high-fiving, hugging people, he's going to have you moving to the music, he's going to make it simple, fun, easy, and entertaining, right? He's an entertaining guy. Now, he wasn't always that way. He's built up that skill set. Most other schools will just focus on, no, you put your foot in the wrong spot. No, do it again, right? No, that's wrong, again. And that, if you're ready for that, may actually be what some people need, but a tiny little percentage. If you can make it fun while you're learning, they're more likely to stick around and actually learn. They don't even realize they're learning because you're having fun.
One of my favorite things about you is how you involve your team.
Okay.
I watch a lot of music coaching. There's a couple of creators that I watch. And I was wondering why you don't show more of your coaching. Like in your Instagrams, you always say, tell me what you learned today,
Yeah.
right? But don't you think it would be amazing, and wouldn't it be a great opportunity to add content to your brand, to actually show people one-on-one how you're working with Jeremy, how you're working with Alex? Like, that's content and that's value, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've tried. We haven't figured out the right model for it yet. Danny filmed some great videos of me and Alex, multiple videos, 3, 4, 5 maybe, I don't know how many, of me coaching him, and did okay. I agree with you. We haven't figured out the right model, right? So we've tried a little bit where it's kind of set up. Right now I'm trying the live streaming, so we live streamed on my trip to New York, and I had a great conversation with Jeremy around investing for an hour and a half that we captured, I think, most of it on the live stream. So it's there, but it's kind of buried in this 12-hour live stream, right? But at least creates moments to be able to go back and take that and turn it into content. So yes, I agree with you. We haven't figured out the right execution of it, but it's something that I want to do more of. A lot of times, the challenge that we're trying to solve is you never know when something's going to come up. Sometimes it could be this really deep, great, meaningful conversation, or sometimes we're just in execution mode that's not very entertaining or educational because we're already so many steps ahead that it doesn't make sense what we're talking about when you watch the video.
But you come across to me as somebody with drive. When you're training them, I think that would be huge benefit for people to see what they actually have to take in order to learn, right?
100%. I'm with you. We haven't figured out the model yet, but we're trying. Stay tuned, and if you get ideas, let me know.
Okay.
Yeah, because we could sit down and have perfect lights and all this stuff, and and I'm coaching Alex, and some weeks you just never know what's going to happen. When I'm sitting down with you, I don't know what you're going to ask me. when Alex comes, sometimes he's really facing something that we need to dive into and push, and sometimes he's crushing it, and we just need to keep doing it. So there's not as much a push. Not every conversation is guaranteed to be amazing. So that becomes a challenge of filming a whole bunch of content and then maybe a little piece, we can use.
Maybe it's just a little bit more planning of what the content is going to be.
Now you sound exactly like Danny, and it's amazing. No, it's great.
Sorry.
Yeah. Danny's probably got like a giant smile on his face, like, yeah, Evan, you need more planning, right? I hate planning.
I know.
I would rather sit here. I'm going to do 15 interviews today, talks. I don't know what anybody's going to ask me. You started asking about my mom, this like recall to some line I said. It's amazing. I'm best when there's no planning. When somebody does an interview with me for podcasts, like Thursdays is all day typically interviews, they want to send their questions. I never look at them. Like, don't send me questions. I want a natural reaction. Because if I knew your questions and I answered them, like I would have already been thinking answers, and I'd give you still a genuine, but not as I want to be in the moment and present with you and not have thought about what I'm going to say. So I love the reactionary live in the moment too much. It's not that I can't do staged and planning. I'm just better when it's like this.
But you could just touch on one subject, that's the subject, and then just let the two of you
But
fly
often,
the way it
often
goes.
The best stuff is not what you plan on. Like what we get into.
Right,
You
because
ask
if you
this
know the
question-
topic, then you're going to prepare, and it's
But
gonna
even that,
sound-
even if knowing the topic, he comes with this topic, I'm a weird duck. I'll find some weird thing in what he's saying, and then we'll
sway up.
we're way over here now, and it has nothing to do with that thing,
Okay.
right?
I
and
get
then
it.
that screws Danny over because he's planned this whole day around like this storyline. It's like, sorry, man, we're going all the way over here.
So again, you're back to figuring it out.
Right. Well, so that's why we're trying the live strategy, but we'll see.
But I think that's where you could corner it, right? Like,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
nobody
hear
else
you.
is working with their team like you are. Like,
Yeah.
It-
It's still service first. Not I'm feeling the love, and I agree. It's a great strategy, but it's still service first because I think even the energy that you feel and being in this group and being not just around me, being around the team and being around everybody else, I want to put that energy out more because there's definitely the more time that people have spent with me, I've definitely seen more of their growth. Right, like Alex has grown a ton in the past 4 years. We've met every week for the past 4 years. And so I want to try to bring more of that into the content that I'm making. So listen, 90-day tour, it's coming up. The plan is to live stream every day of it
So
for 12 hours. Watch it. Let me know where we suck. Let me know like what little moments you might like, and always trying to experiment to figure out what the model is. But strategically, I'm with you. Yes, 1,000%. This has been the conversation inside our team for the past year or so. Execution, we haven't figured out the model. So we're trying a whole bunch of different things to hopefully find it. Yeah,
perfect. Can I
appreciate
ask
the
you
love.
one more question?
Yeah,
My calendar.
yeah.
I'm only good with that morning calendar. Putting myself on that list is really, really hard for me, right? I can do the morning one, no problem, but I don't know how to fill up that calendar properly. And then if I do fill it up, right, I find the Bob Proctor, write down the 3.
Sure.
Or write down the 6 and try and get at least 3 of them done. Now
Okay.
that works for me.
Okay, good.
And I can consistently do that because my notepad is right there when I get up in the morning. It's
Okay.
right there on the desk.
Yeah.
And I can manage that. But yeah, putting me on that schedule and the Google just gives me so many things and so many tools to use, and like a lot of it I don't even know how to use, right? Like,
Sure.
delving into the analytics and everything, that's, interesting, right? But then I find that I get into, well, for me right now, it's the learning, right? Learning the mindset, right?
Great.
Because it's,
Listen, so your actions have to map to your ambitions. You have a mission, you want to have an impact. Are you doing the daily tasks that will allow you to go off and do it? So now that you've already have your mornings done, that's already major progress compared to
my mornings are,
2 years ago, right? So that's like, right? Like momentum. That's great, right? Okay, now we're gonna attack like from morning to lunch.
but then that's when I go right into my videos, right?
But
Because sometimes I
that's
can
fine,
catch
but-
your 7 o'clock.
Great. So, but what you want to do is look at your week, and say, I need to make videos, right? You need to make videos for your channels. You have a YouTube channel. It doesn't exist without content. So when during your week are you going to make videos? Are you making them every day? Are you making them once a week, twice a week, 4 times a week, right? Like you put it into your calendar. So
Yeah, see, that's a big reason why I've been sticking with the Instagram and putting all my effort into the Instagram right now, because I've gotten myself in a stage now where, I know you guys all hate saying this, but financially I can't afford the gas to get out there, and I try and do these videos where I can go to the park and do city things and stuff, and it works out okay, but it's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to, because it makes me feel good, because I need to be out there,
Yeah.
right? And because I know what it does for me to be out there, and I know my audience long enough to know what it does for them, I would like to do more of that. But now I get back to the point of I have to bring in an income, right? And because of the person I am, a big corporation with lots of people is just going to drive me crazy. Like I couldn't work in a grocery store.
YouTube can, with advertising, give you that, but you have to make content. If you're not making content, you're not going to make an income.
But when I was doing my videos like every week, and I just for years and years, and then just have nothing, right? No building, and I know that's on me, but looking at my videos, they're not that bad. I mean, they're not great, right, for where I'm at right now, but they're not bad. Like I feel like I'm connecting, but I just can't get the subscribers on.
Well, but that's the thing. Like, if you're making videos and you're the only one, if you love it but nobody else loves it, you have a hobby. You have to figure out. It's not that it's not bad. It's just not. The audience is not. They're not telling people. They're not enjoying it. It's bad for them. It may not be bad for you, but you have to decide. Do you want a hobby or do you want a business? So you have to figure out what that co-creation is, and that what can you provide that's gonna, what piece, like when you sit down with Jeremy tomorrow, you should look at your audience retention on your videos to see what bits people like and they're watching. So look at what people resonate the most with, because you have to create things that people want as well as what you want. It's the mix. If it's only what you want but nobody else cares, you have a hobby. If it's only what they want but you don't care, you're selling your soul. You're not gonna enjoy making it. It's gotta be that mix, what you love and what people want. So look through your content with Jeremy and see where are you getting some spikes. Like, oh, when I do this, people like it. When I do this, they don't.
But I can see that all in my analytics. I can see my CTR, and I can see the engagement. Like I can see it there, but it's so small.
Right. So do more, but you take the small wins and you do more of that kind of stuff. Maybe they loved it when you still have to be able to connect with it emotionally, but maybe they loved it when you were just walking through the fields and there was this beautiful sunset or something. Like, oh, okay, could I do a daily sunset video? Like, do you like that? Mm-hmm. Do you enjoy it? Yeah. It's got to be.
I just got to get outside. That's, right. There's lots outside.
In that combination, like what you love plus what there's a market for.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, for sure.
And start, because then you could start making an income from your YouTube videos. If you're just making content but nobody likes it, they're not caring enough to share it. Doesn't mean they hate it, but they're not watching every video. They're not sharing with their friends. Because it's just okay for them. It's great for you, but it's just okay for them. You got a hobby.
Right.
It's got to be great for them and great for you.
Right.
So if you find that sunrises are amazing, then you ask yourself, maybe you hate sunrises. Maybe you think it's the worst thing in the world. Awesome. No sunrises ever, right? Or maybe you love it. It's like, okay, hey, the sun rises every day. I'll do a sunrise morning video every day. Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So look in your analytics and see. Or maybe when you tell a story, it does better. Or maybe when your dog is in it, it does better. Or maybe when, right? And then you have more of those. As long as you still feel like it's authentic to you and you're not just chasing the audience. Like we're co-creating. I'm making this for myself because I still love this, and I'm making this because people need it to.
And I always keep that in mind, right?
Yeah.
Because it's number one, right? It's number one. I don't want people
to
wait until my age
to
find it, right?
So now you have to look at what they care about and doing more of that.
Okay, I got it. Thank you, Evan.
If you have a podcast or interview show and want me to be a guest on it, I have 2 options for you. There's a link right there next to me. Go click it, and I look forward to being a guest on your show.